મળતા નથી.
હવે નથી મળતા, કોણ બનાવી ખાય લોકોએ.
ઓલા મળે છે, કિલો કરતી.
હા.
Can I sing or you sing? Can I sing?
That's fine.
ki, you say? Okay, let's try it again with a little bit more enthusiasm. Vrindavan Dham ki. Jai! Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parvaracharya Astotam Saprati Siman Nutami Nivan Vesa Hare Karuna Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai! Vedanta Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Jai! Namo Naga Sri Haridas Thakur ki. Jai! Sri Sanatana Bhakti Raghunath Deva Gopal Bhakti Das Raghunath Goswami Prabhupada ki. Jai! Jai Go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Shivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Jai! Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Madan Mohan Shamakund Radhakund Shishigiri Govardhan ki. Jai! Sita Devi Appearance Day ki. Jai! Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki. Jai! Sri Harinam Sankirtan Yuga Dharma ki. Jai! Sri Prabhupada Sansan Book Distribution ki. Jai! Vrindavan Dham ki. Jai! Sri Dwarkapuri Dham ki. Jai! Ayodhya Dham ki. Jai! Mayapur Dham ki. Jai! Vaishnava Sangha Vaishnava Seva ki. Jai! So the next part, I say, all glorious assembled devotees, Hare. All glorious assembled devotees. All glorious assembled devotees. All glorious assembled devotees. All glorious to Lotus in Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So with this humble request, everyone can sit down for a few minutes. We're going to say the prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev, who is protector of Prahlad Maharaj and the protector of all the devotees. Bhakta Raksha. So Nrsimha Pranam, and after that they'll be telling the Maharaj in the Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so today is a very auspicious day. It's the appearance day of Srimati Sita Devi. Sita Devi on the right of Lord, on the right there of the altar, on the left of Lord Ram. She is the mother of the universe. Very, very kind Sita Devi. So Sita Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. So Ravan captured Sita and took her away, and then Lord Ram and Hanuman and Lakshman, and they all went to rescue Sita and bring her back. So today, if you see the dress that Sita Devi is wearing is completely made out of flowers. The whole dress made out of flowers. So much devotion and detail gone into preparing. So today is a very auspicious day. On the appearance day of any great personality or the Lord or his consort, it's a day that we can pray to that personality and get very big special blessings and benedictions. So we can pray to Sita Devi for her mercy, her kindness. She's very compassionate, and she just wants everyone to be happy, and she wants everyone to love the Lord, and she wants everyone to be peaceful and progressive with their life. So, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Sita Devi's appearance day Ki Jai. So now they are serving some Mahaprasad in the Haveli. When you go down the steps on the right hand side, there's going to be the first hall on the right. You can go and get the Mahaprasad, Sita Devi's Mahaprasad. And also here in the temple there's going to be some bhajan and kirtan. And the next arti will be at 7 o'clock. So there'll be a class from 6 o'clock till 7 on Bhagavad Gita, and then 9 o'clock in the morning. So Vanisha will come and sing some bhajan for us. She's come all the way from Leicester.
चलो थोड़ा थोड़ा कर दो थोड़ा कर दो come on quickly come on don't sing if I know how to sing then I can sing but your voice is good why you not singing sing come on really
Thank you.
come on thank you
देखो भी बहुत खुश
नहीं गाने दो जैसे गाते पूरा कोई बात नहीं
थैंक यू आपने
सभी
बोला
लोग
तो
करते
मैं
हैं।
इसको लेके आई थी मैं आई थी फिर गई फिर इसको
नहीं सिंग करो
कोई नहीं हो तो और अच्छा है ना कोई भी
नहीं नहीं अच्छा ही ना कोई हो तो भी अच्छा है नहीं हो तो भी अच्छा है
अब बहुत टाइम है थैंक यू
भगवान है ना
Hari Nama Sankirtana Yagya Ki Jai. Srimati Sita Devi Ki Jai. Jai Gaura Brahmanande Hari Hari Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. We'll start off with some kirtan, Jai Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jagiravaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jagiravaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to today's Bhagavad Gita class. We'll start off by doing the invocation prayers, so please follow along if you can. Om Jnanatimirandasya. Sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So please say it 3 times with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrashatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamatamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priya Vanchakalpa Turubhasya Cha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are on verse 11, I'm also getting it up, 1143. So if you have the book, then you can turn to 1143. Otherwise, if you just type in BG 1143 Veda base, you can read along with me when we go through the purport and verse. So that's 1143. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Prashkite Deshatarine. Ask for your blessings today. Thank you. So I'll just read the Sanskrit verse once and then we can read it together. So actually, I'll firstly read the translation. So when we're saying the Sanskrit, we know what we're actually chanting. So the translation for this verse is, "You are the Father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the 3 worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power?" Okay, so I'm going to just say the Sanskrit once and then we'll say it all together. Petasi lokasya chara charasya tvamasya pujasyascha guru gariyan natvat samosti abhyadikaha kutonyo Lokatrepi apritama prabhava. So we'll go line by line. If you could repeat with me. Pita silokasya chara charasya Tvamasya pujasyascha gurur gariyan Natvat samosti abhyadika kutonyo Loka Trayapi Apratima Prabhava. So I'm just going to now say the word for word translation so you can repeat after me. Pitta, the Father. Asi, you are. Lokasya, of all the world. Chara, moving. Acharasya, and non-moving. Tvam, you are. Asya, of this. Pujya, worshipable. Cha, also. Guru, master. Gariyan, glorious. Na, never. Dwatsama, equal to you. Asti, there is. Abhyadika, greater. Gutta, how is it possible? Anya, other. Loka Traya, in the three planetary systems. Api, also. Apritama Prabhava, O immeasurable power. Okay, so I'm going to now read the translation by Srila Prabhupada. You are the Father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? So now I'm going to read the purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the worshipable Father as a father is worshipable for his son. He is the spiritual master because he originally gave the Vedic instructions to Brahma, and presently he is also instructing Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Therefore, he is the original spiritual master, and any bona fide spiritual master at the present moment must be a descendant in the line of disciplic succession stemming from Krishna. Without being a representative of Krishna, one cannot become a teacher or spiritual master of transcendental subject matter. The Lord is being paid obeisances in all respect. He is the immeasurable greatness. No one can be greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, because no one is equal to or higher than Krishna within any manifestation, spiritual or material. Everyone is below him, no one can excel him. That is stated in Svetashvara Upanishad 6.8. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natat samas cha vyadikash cha drishyate. The Supreme Lord Krishna has senses and a body like the ordinary man, but for him there is no difference between his senses, his body, his mind, and himself. Foolish persons who do not perfectly know him say that Krishna is different from his soul, mind, heart, and everything else. Krishna is absolute, therefore his activities and potencies are supreme. It is also stated that although he does not have senses like ours, he can perform all sensory activities, therefore his senses are neither imperfect nor limited. No one can be greater than him, no one can be equal to him, and everyone is lower than him. The knowledge, strength, and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are all transcendental, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma chimetevyam evam yoveti tatvataha tyakta deham punarjanma neti mam eti surjana. Whoever knows Krishna's transcendental body, activities, and perfection after quitting his body returns to him and doesn't come back again to this miserable world. Therefore, one should know that Krishna's activities are different from others. The best policy is to follow the principles of Krishna. That will make one perfect. It is also said that there is no one who is master of Krishna Everyone is his servant. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5.142 confirm Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ada Sabha Britya. Only Krishna is God and everyone else is his servant. Everyone is complying with his order. There is no one who can deny his order. Everyone is acting according to his direction, being under his superintendence, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. He is the cause of all causes. So there's a lot actually in this verse, and there's a lot in this purport. So in this limited time, I'm going to focus on 3 points today. So first I'm going to talk about Krishna being the original Supreme Master, what that actually means for him being a spiritual master, and what that means for us. The point from the purport and also the verse where it says, no one is greater than Krishna, we'll explore that. And the third point I wanted to explore is that Krishna is the only master and we are his servants, and what it means to really be a servant, and how that's different from how we're living today. So those are the 3 points we're going to look at today. So I'm going to try and make this as interactive as possible, just because that's when we all learn the most, and I'm just here as a facilitator. So if we can get a microphone so people online can also hear, that would be great. Thank you so much. Okay, so first point, as I was saying, is in the verse it says Krishna is the original supreme spiritual master. So firstly, I just wanted to ask everyone here today, what is the role of, the spiritual master, and what is a spiritual master? Just so everyone can hear online. Is it on? Sorry, I won't make you repeat it again. Okay, so she said guide us to go back to Godhead. Yeah, exactly. Any other thoughts?
Spiritual master is a personality from whom we get real knowledge of absolute truth, of the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Definitely. He teaches us and guides us how to achieve him, how to have right relationship with him, and he's giving us all this mercy.
So beautifully said, thank you. Mohan?
Yeah, and just like it says in the Guru Ashtakam prayer that the spiritual master's word are just as good as God. So he is the representative of the Lord. He teaches us how to serve Krishna. How to have a good loving relationship. So the spiritual, and they must come from a disciplic succession, like it says. So Prabhupada is our Shiksha Guru, and then we have Diksha Gurus, and they're all there basically to learn how to please Krishna and how to be able to serve him nicely and how to be purified. For without purification, then how can we hope to have a relationship with the Lord?
Yeah, so beautiful. Thank you for all the answers. Really, really spot on. So it's just, sort of almost simple logic that when we want to learn something, even in the material world, any subject, we approach a teacher. Like, if we want to become a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, or if we want to go out there to learn something, we go to university, we find a teacher. If we want to go play a musical instrument, we'll go get a tutor. So why is this any different? So one point is that, spiritual master is a teacher who can teach us about Krishna. He can teach us about knowing Krishna. We can only learn to love someone if we know him. So if we know that the ultimate goal of our existence is to love Krishna, prema bhakti, then on the way there we have to learn to know him. And we can only learn to know Krishna through the spiritual master. So, that's one thing. Sorry, did you want to say something?
It's not that I wanted to say anything, it was just, that's really beautiful what you mentioned. It's also, the Bhagavad Gita mentions how that the spiritual master, he's the one that gives us the vision because he has seen it himself. So he has heard from the right source, with the right understanding, the right vision.
Yeah.
And so he's able to sort of give us that. But he's able to give us that, and we inquire from him, and also we are submissive, we render service. So also there's those two requirements.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, so I was exactly going to touch on the verse from the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that. So, yeah, essentially, the spiritual master is the servant of the Supreme Lord, and he has traversed this path. So, it's very easy in the material world for us to think we need that teacher, but we need that exact same setup in our spiritual life as well. And actually, Krishna directly tells us that we need that spiritual master. So it's in Bhagavad Gita 4:34. So it's a really nice verse. So I'll read it out. So in 4:34, Krishna said, "Tadvini pranipatena pariprashnena seviya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tati darshina." So he's saying, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So exactly what Mohan Prabhu said here. So Krishna, it's not only that we should, but actually Krishna tells us to specifically go out there and find the spiritual master, because it says here, the self-realized soul, the spiritual master, can give us that knowledge because he has seen the truth. He has traversed that route, and he can take us there. And so Krishna not only tells us to get that spiritual master and who that is, but in this verse he also says, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. So now one may think, okay, well, earlier in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, go and find a spiritual master. But then in this verse, Krishna is saying, I am the original supreme spiritual master. So, why that? So we'll explore that, shortly. So, yeah, we basically said that, and another point about the role of the spiritual master is that we can never serve Krishna directly. So the way that we serve Krishna is via the spiritual master, via the guru. And it's said that, when we serve the spiritual master is happy. Because the spiritual master is happy, Krishna is happy, because the spiritual master is so dear to the Lord. And so when spiritual master is happy, Krishna is happy. And when Krishna is happy, then naturally we are happy because we are his parts and parcels. So essentially we can't serve Krishna directly. We don't know him. We don't know anything about him. But what we can do is, with our material bodies and our minds and everything, we can be submissive to the spiritual master, and we can serve him. So basically the spiritual master is a via medium to Krishna. So that's a point. So, we talked about why we need one, and because, Krishna says so. Are there any other points about why we, specifically really need that spiritual master? Because I've got a few points here, but it'd be good to hear what everyone else thinks.
Well, from my understanding, the spiritual master teaches us that without the love of God or Krishna, everything else is meaningless or not important. But it's also that relationship that we nourish to learn about truth, love, and that light within ourselves, to find those elements within ourselves as well. So the spiritual master is supposed to also empower us to find that, not just with our relationship to God, but our relationship with ourselves as well.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah. Like, why can we not do it ourselves?
We can easily get lost on our way.
Yeah, lovely, yeah.
Also, I was listening to Dr. Churu Swami once, and he was mentioning also how a spiritual master is heavy, also. So,
Guru means heavy.
yeah. So, the very reason why we're in this world is because we've cheated ourselves. You know, we think that we are little gods, you know, because of what we've accomplished according to civilization progress. The spiritual master is there to sort of slice through our false ego and then identify our true ego.
Lovely. So you're saying the guru, being that heavy personality, can help us get there, slice through this ego, and yeah, help us get there. Lovely. Yeah. So, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Spiritual master can guide us and correct. He can correct us on our way. So, because we can read book and we can understand it in our own way. But spiritual master, he can correct us, and so in this way we can study properly.
Yeah. Yeah, all really, really lovely points, and I've got similar points. So, you know, to your point is that, you know, similar to that is that we don't really have enough of the strength or power to escape the clutches of Maya. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that this external energy of mine is very hard to overcome. He says the divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But one who surrenders onto me, i.e. surrenders onto the spiritual master, can very easily overcome it. So actually, this material energy of Krishna's, this external energy, is really, really hard to overcome. So there's no way we could do it ourselves if we thought we could. So that's one reason I've got here. The other thing is that, you know, we know that as human beings, we've got the 4 defects as well. I don't know of them off the top of my head, so please help me. So the cheating propensity, the false, we're in illusion, yeah.
Mistakes, we commit mistakes.
Commit mistakes, yeah.
And imperfect senses.
And imperfect senses, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, with all 4 of these, it's impossible for us to really get there without the spiritual master. And, you know, it's also that, you know, we're so conditioned to speculate, and, you know, we use our empiric senses to really try to understand what we do. But again, all of those are Shirada Gupta Rasita Lakshman Hanuman Kiche Shiv Garanandai Kiche. So we use our imperfect senses, and so often, you know, we can have these inspirations, these visions, these experiences, and revelations, which can be just a concoction of the mind and, you know, the senses. So in that way, the spiritual master helps us to navigate that. So, you know, God, you know, Krishna is always in the heart as Paramatma. So, you know, Krishna is in the inside, but the spiritual master is on the outside. So he kind of helps us to make that connect. And so it's really important that we, you know, get this confirmation via the spiritual master as well. So that's another reason why we really need him. So, yeah, which then naturally brings us to, you know, the qualifications of a spiritual master. So, you know, we're going to get to this point around, you know, why we're talking about spiritual master and the supreme, but it's worth talking about the qualifications of the spiritual master. So, just open it up. What are some of the qualifications that a spiritual master must have? You got the microphone, Colin.
Well, from what I've learned from Bhakti Shastri, it's that he must have heard from his spiritual master correctly. So the Bhagavata from Srila Prabhupada, from his spiritual master. And the other thing is that he must be situated in Krishna consciousness. Because there's a lot of spiritual masters also, we find that they have agendas. They have ulterior motives. So a spiritual master is one that wants nothing to do with this world other than to guide one, the living entity, to establish their relationship with Krishna. There's nothing else that he wants other than that.
Yeah. Thank you. Lovely. Want to take one more?
Yes, I would say that a spiritual master also has a lot of life experience. So by the time they start studying all of these books, they have something in their life to relate it to, because that's the only way they can teach others, is by kind of being a bit of a wounded warrior, that they heal themselves, and with that example, they help other people find healing within themselves as well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So I've got the. Okay. Shall I go through the qualifications first, and then? Okay. So the Vedas actually have very specifically the. Sorry, did you want to say something?
Can I
Yes,
just
please.
say something as well? Actually, nectar of instruction gives us all these qualities of spiritual master. Yeah, this is text 1. Vacha vegam, anasaprata vegam, jihva vegam, darupashta vegam, etan vegan yoga shahetadira, sarvam apiham vikirim sashishyat, which means that a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger and the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So those are the qualifications of spiritual master. If a person has these qualities, then he can have disciples
Yeah.
all over the world.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So in case you didn't hear it because it wasn't that loud, she read the first verse of Mantra of the Nectar of Instruction, or describing the qualities of one who can make disciples all over the world. Yeah. So certainly, a guru will have those qualities. A few other ones that I've got here is so the first requirement for a bona fide spiritual master must that he must be in the disciplic succession from the supreme spiritual master. So at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, you'll actually see the disciplic succession, and so it must start from Krishna. So there's different sampradayas, and the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, there's a lineage, but the spiritual master must be part of that lineage. The second requirement is that he must speak only on the authority of the Vedas or of his spiritual master. So it must be kept very rigidly in line with the original teachings. So, spiritual master can't, concoct his own philosophy and then teach that, because, that would, it just doesn't work like that. And that's why Srila Prabhupada has got Bhagavad Gita as it is. And so that's the second requirement of the spiritual master. The third one is that his knowledge is realized. So he must be a pure devotee of God, teaching by example, practicing what he is preaching. Not that he teaches dry theory or philosophy. So again, we see that example of, Srila Prabhupada, pure devotee of God, practice teaching by example. He used to chant Hare Krishna 24/7. I was reading Your Ever Well Wisher yesterday, and it was this part in the book where I think he'd just gone unconscious after like a mini stroke or something, and I think for a moment they couldn't really feel, but as soon as his body came back alive, by default he was chanting the Mahamantra. So that's an example of someone who's actually preaching what they practice. And if I came out of being unconscious, that's the last thing I'd probably do. So you see that Srila Prabhupada was living and breathing this philosophy and was really teaching us. by example. And then the fourth requirement of the bona fide spiritual master, realizing Krishna to be everything and never oppose himself as God. So he doesn't promise his students that he can become God, or he does not also claim himself to be God. So we see very many examples of that in scripture, even in Lord Chaitanya. Even though he was God and anyone called him God, he closed his eyes, and there's instances where he got his disciples out. He was very strict. I am not God. I am the servant of God. And also here it says he doesn't promise his students any false promises that he can become God, because the student is always a servant, as is the spiritual master the servant of God, even though the disciples treat him as if he is God. So those are some of the qualifications of the spiritual master, which then naturally brings us to this point where it says that Krishna is the original supreme spiritual master. So the reason why Krishna is the original supreme spiritual master is because, we saw that the qualification of the spiritual master was that he must originally get his teachings from the Vedas. Well, so it was actually Krishna was the one who gave the Vedic injunctions to Lord Brahma. Krishna is actually the start of the disciplic succession as well. Those are, and actually he's the one that's instructing Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, which is, what we're living our lives by. So that is why he is the original supreme spiritual master. So it was even, when Lord Brahma is born from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, when he, at first, it's just black. There's just nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And so Brahma actually he meditates. He does his austerity, and then through the transcendental sound, it's Krishna who imparts the knowledge from within. So again, he is the original supreme spiritual master. He's the one that gives us these Vedic injunctions and how to behave. So yeah, that is on that. So if we're happy, then I'll move to the next point, which is, we don't have that much time, but no one is greater than Krishna. So this one's a little, just a few lines on this. So why no one can become greater than Krishna? So this is emphasized in both the purport as well as the verse itself. It says, no one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds? So the point here is that, I think with the Mayavadis, the common philosophy there is that, in time they can become one with the Lord. So it's very clearly said that, you can't be greater than Krishna, you can't even be one with him. And so this whole point is why we can't become one with Krishna is because our whole philosophy is that we never lose our identity as the servants of the Lord. We are part and parcel of Krishna. And what's really beautiful is that we actually all have our eternal identities, and we're all very, very different from each other. And at the end, it's not that we just lose that identity and become one with Krishna. We retain that identity. We have our own rasas. We have our own in the spiritual world. So, we never become one with Krishna. That's for the other one. We can also never become greater than Krishna, because this point is that we are all parts and parcels of Krishna. So he's the original cause of all causes, and we are just small sparks of his splendor, so little sparks of the great fire. And, therefore, by default, we can never be greater than him. And, whenever I think about this point that no one can be greater than Krishna, I always think about the Sri Upanishad invocation prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamadashate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishate. This is that the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. So really, really powerful, but it just goes to show that the original, no matter what, unlimited thing, emanations can come from him, but that doesn't reduce his potency by a spark. And again, we are just tiny, minute sparks of that whole. I don't know, this really funny image comes to me. It's like a pizza, and then, you know, like usually when you take a pizza, the pizza gets smaller and smaller, but Krishna's like the pizza that's always stays, no matter how many pizzas you keep taking out. I don't know, it's a really random thing that comes to mind. Yeah. And then also we see in chapter 10 where Krishna talks about, you know, this greatness, and where he talks about how he's the greatest in each of the categories. And I always like to, it's a fun game to play when, you know, you just ask what is the greatest in the category, and I might do one or two just to make it a bit fun. Yeah. Okay. So he says, Krishna. Sorry, give me a second. I've got this. Okay. Of the lights, Krishna is the... Yeah, the sun. Yeah, okay. Among all the stars, he is the... Yeah, the moon. That's it, yeah. Okay. And he says, of all the Vedas, I am the... Yeah, the Samaveda. Yeah. Of the King of Heavens, he is... Of the... Yeah, the demigods, he is... Sorry, I kind of gave away that answer, yeah. Yeah, so, you know, even in chapter 10, we see where Krishna is talking about, you know, the greatness, and he is the greatest of each of the categories. So that was just something that came to my mind when I was thinking, you know, no one and nothing is greater than Krishna. So yeah, that is, yes.
Also in Vishnu Purana, we have this beautiful verse where it is says that Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Viryasya Yashasa Shriya, Jnana Vairagyos Chaiva. So he is someone who has full strength, fame, wisdom, wealth, beauty, and renunciation. You will never ever find anyone who has all these opulences, like fully. So that's why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the most wonderful.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, so I mean, I think when I was giving a talk on chapter 10 last time, we were talking about those unlimited qualities of fame, wealth, etc. And I was just saying that even today, if someone has one of those qualities, i.e. great strength, you know, we're attracted to them, you know. If they have wealth, for example, we're attracted to them. If they have some kind of fame, even just one of them, how attracted. Whereas Krishna has all 6 of those in infinite amounts. So imagine if we're attracted to one of those in some small quantity, imagine Krishna having all of those in unlimited amounts. So yeah, he's really the reservoir of all of that, and everything comes from him. So yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
These are descriptions of Krishna, isn't it? Or Krishna. But people actually struggle to actually know him still. All these opulences you can describe him in whatever way you want, but you still can't describe him. There's no satisfaction in describing Krishna because he's beyond description.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing your reflection. So I guess your point in, you know, we can't really know him, yeah, that's also written in the scripture that even the greatest of the greatest, Lord Shiva, you know, Lord Brahma, you can't ever know Krishna because his opulences are actually unlimited. But I guess in terms of knowing him, it comes back to our first point, is that the only way that we can get to know him is to serve the spiritual master or serve other pure devotees, because it's through them that we actually get realized knowledge of Krishna. So you're right in that this right now this might feel theoretical, and anyone could say anything, but in my experience, it's when you give to the process, and maybe you don't have to have faith on Krishna, but you can have faith on the pure devotees who you interact with on a day-to-day basis, or even in one-off, and you see their quality, you see their characters.
You have to have faith in Krishna by default.
Well, then, if you didn't have faith in Krishna, and this is all, sorry, from my experience, so please, anyone chime in. But if you didn't have faith in Krishna, you can have faith in his pure devotees. So, when I started my journey, I was really attracted to the devotees because I thought they were such wonderful people. I felt like I really felt their purity. And because of that, I ended up having faith in them. And through having faith in them, I was like, oh, well, if they're saying this chanting works, let me just give it a go. And so my faith actually started in the devotees. And then it was through the process, which is actually a scientific process, we slowly develop faith in Krishna because we start to realize some of the things which are actually being said. And so it's one where you do have to put your faith in something, but for me that faith has been in the devotees. But I'd love to hear if anyone else would like to share their experiences or answer that question. I hope that was helpful.
Krishna does say that the company of devotees helps.
Yeah, exactly. So Lord Chaitanya, like one of his core instructions is to always have the association of the devotees, as that's what gets us there, yes. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Okay, and we've got 10 minutes now, so I'll just quickly touch on my last point on this one of the master and the servant. So this point comes in Srila Prabhupada's purport, where he says that Krishna is God and everyone else is his servant. Everyone is complying with his order. There is no one that can deny his order. So I guess my first question is, like, when we think of master and servant, what first comes to your mind? This notion of master and servant in this material world.
They're non-equal in power. One is the master, so he's at a higher level. The servant is down here. So basically there's an inequality of power when it comes to master and servant in the material world.
Yeah, thank you. Any other thoughts? Or like when we hear this word servant and that we are servants, what comes to mind? We don't really like to be called servants, do we?
We want to be masters, that's why we are here in this material world, so it's something not so nice for us. But yeah, Krishna consciousness is really a beautiful process, and it really gives you absolutely different vision and absolutely different understanding that to be a servant, this is the highest position actually. To be a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, this is the best position to be.
Beautiful, thank you so much. I really liked what you said there about like Krishna consciousness almost rewires us to understand this concept of a servant. In this material world, we see, being a servant as a sort of a low thing. We don't like to be called servants. We don't want to be servants. And but actually, when through this process of Krishna consciousness, we learn to understand what being a servant is. And as you said, we learn that actually being a servant is the highest position. And as you said, we're all trying to be masters here, which is why we're actually here. And so Krishna's created this like false world for us to try and be this master. But actually, inherently, we're all servants, and our nature, the soul's nature, is to serve. And that's why it's so unsatisfactory here in this world, because we're trying to be masters, but the nature of the soul is actually to serve. And that's why we're all so unsatisfied. And to some degree that can be hard to understand, but actually there's a lot of research that's been done out there by big universities which actually show that people are so much, they derive so much happiness from actually serving. So I did actually have evidence of where I was going to read some things, but I don't have internet connection, but I'll just try to remember. So there was this study being done by one of the universities where I think there was people that were suffering from dementia, and they partnered them up with people so they can have these conversations and stuff. And the people that were suffering, their levels of happiness increased maybe by a little, but they weren't that much better off. But it was actually the people that were serving that derived the greatest benefit. It was also the University of Utah that said that when they did a poll, a study, a survey, they said actually service was in the lead. And so it's actually, even in this material world, it's been proven that service is what we're all, the nature of the soul, and what actually gives us true happiness. But it's like we've been wired, we've been conditioned to think that we're masters and we want to be served instead. But if we just give it a go and to serve, then we'll actually see how much pleasure that we can, not pleasure, how much joy we can derive from actually serving. Yes?
Yeah, it's really very interesting why it is so pleasing for everyone, whoever does sincere service for someone. It gives you such nourishment, and why it is like that. Actually, service is love, the symptom of love, and it is love itself. So we cannot say that we love someone just like that. We have to do something for this personality if we love him or her. So service is something which actually how we express our love towards a person. So that's why it's a means and it's a result as well, I think.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, so what you're saying is that, service, if someone asks you what is love, basically love is service, and that's how we express our love. And, in this, we want to be loved and we want to love. And so the way that we actually put that into action is to serve, and that's when we really feel this joy. So actually being a servant is actually really beautiful, and we almost have to train ourselves and experience that to really, experience that. And this point around being a servant is that, even though we're all trying to be mini masters here, actually the nature of the soul is to always serve, and therefore we are always serving someone anyways, whether that's, Srila Prabhupada would say, family, friends, your pets, boss, country. Exactly, the senses as well. We're always serving one thing or the other, and that's why even in retired life, then people will go out their way to go and get a pet because they're serving that. Or, in the worst case scenario, like you said, we're serving the senses. And so Srila Prabhupada, in this lecture on the Srimad Bhagavatam, once said, there are two kinds of servants, the Maya's servant and Krishna's servant. Nobody is master, that is illusion. Everyone is servant. Every living entity is a servant. Okay, so I think it's the end now. So I'm going to close. But just this point around service is our function, and that we should all actually, give it a go and see the joy that we can experience from it. So we'll just end here. We'll just say our Vanchakalpa prayers. Vanchakalpatarubhasya cha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
जय गौरा चंदे आरती को शोभा की बजायो जयो गौरा चंदे आरती को शोभा जाना भी टटवाने जग मन लोभा जाना भी टटवाने जग मन लोभा दक्षिणे नीतछान भूमि गदधारा निकटे अद्वैत श्रीनि वास छत्रधारा निकटे अद्वैत श्रीनि वास छत्रधारा निकटे अद्वैत श्रीनि वास छत्रधारा বসে আছে গৌরাচা রত্ন সিংহাসনে বসে আছে গৌরাচা রত্ন সিংহাসনে आरती करे न ब्रह्मा आदि देवताने आरती करे न ब्रह्मा आदि देवताने
Jagam Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Pashtadishatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. श्री राधा गोकुल आनंद की, सीता राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की, श्री गौर निताय की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Hare Krishna, everyone. So we're going to sing the Nishinka prayer now, which is the prayer for protection. And then after that, Mahaprasadam is being served. Okay. Yeah, and then Mahaprasadam is being served in the reception.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Hare Krishna, so Mahaprasadam is being served in the reception. However, if there's two kind souls that would like to help serve, then that would be fantastic. So you can just make your way to the reception and help with the service.
I can still.
Not